All right, collective. So we are gathered here today for a quick short. So yesterday I actually did a series of videos or a series of shorts in regards to Western and Vedic astrology. I didn't upload it because for whatever I was tongue-tied in the video, and like my speech, even though I got everything I wanted to say out, like my speech was like messed up pretty bad, so I didn't really feel like recording. I just deleted the videos. And today, I come out to read tarot, right? I'm doing shuffling, and it started raining. So I'm like, should I go inside the building and do tarot? But I'm like, nah. And this is the reason, like, as far as like divine feminine energy, or like having the safe space to create. These people will come in with their distractions, or they'll look at you crazy, or they'll just start making noise, adult or child, right? Just being annoying in your presence as you're trying to do something. And it's like, I kind of liken it to like whatever the distraction may be. Like, think of it like you're having a good dream, and then someone wakes you up out of that dream, and you're like, why did you wake me up? I was having such a good dream. That's what it's like being broken out of a channel session, or like really diving deep into like your spirituality, or like even meditation. When you hit that good spot, that nice spot, and then someone comes and bothers you, like you're sitting Indian style or whatever your meditation position is in like a public park, and then someone's dog just randomly runs up on you, like, why don't you have your fucking dog on a leash in the first place? But yeah, it's kind of like that. So it's like, this is what we mean as like a spiritualist or a spiritual creative, right? When it comes to like peace and silence and awareness, or like having, like men, right? You create a safe space for your women, right? A divine masculine. And I got raindrops falling on my head. Creates the safe space for the divine feminine, or the feminine, to create, right? Or to be nurturing, right? So that she doesn't have to come out of her element. Yeah, I've been listening to thunder for the past half hour as well, but I'm not here to go in because it's about to get ready to start raining. So would you look at that? I've been up for an hour, and I wasted that whole hour just drinking hot chocolate and shuffling cards, and then as soon as I wanted to go do some readings, right, it just starts raining. But yeah, so this is what we mean when we say a safe space or a creative space, right? Just like with anything, if you're doing anything particular, like you're learning or you're teaching, where do you want to do it at? In an environment that's conducive to learning or teaching, i.e. a school for students or for teachers, right? Healing, right? You need an environment conducive to healing, right? A hospital or some sort of a healing center, whatever the case may be, right? Even if it's for having fun, what type of places are conducive for having fun, right? Arcades, amusement parks, stuff like that, right? So yes, for all my creators I definitely understand when you say you need your own sacred creative space where you don't have distractions around you, or where you don't feel weird, or you don't have people staring at you, right? And all this other type of weird stuff that's going on. But yeah, man, you build your confidence up over time, and it was at a point in time where like maybe over the past year, I've actually been out in the open a lot, actually out at the beach, in the city, or just like in a public library or public park. So I don't really have imposter syndrome like that. It's just, again, people, like a grown-ass person would literally drive through your neighborhood like blasting music. Like, bro, no one wants to hear your playlist. Like, you're 50 feet away, but we can hear your bass and your whamp blasting out of the trunk of your car. Or like, just like kids that's not raised properly, right? That just like to run up in your camera and just do weird stuff, or just up in your space, even if you're not recording, just running up in your space and just being like little badasses. Like, where are your parents at? Like, first of all, why are you running up on a stranger, all up in a stranger's business? But yeah, So yeah, hopefully you find your creative space. You know, I kind of model myself a little bit after, not necessarily model myself after her, but one of my favorite creatives is Chris Ann, the creator of the Light Seers Tarot deck. Yeah, she's like a very creative person. Like, she's like an actual child of the earth, right? So even at her age, I don't even know what her age is, but she's still, and she's allowed to be in her like feminine creative vibe, right? You know, she's married and all these types of things. You know, I researched these people a little bit before I even follow down the path that you know, I see them going or where they've been, right? That's the good thing about having mentors or teachers or following the advice of people that have actually done it, right? I've always felt like I wanted to write a book, or, you know, I've written several children's books and stuff like that, stories. I did all types of comic books when I was younger. Even now, like, I get so sick and tired of seeing the same images in certain tarot decks, and I'm not like a rich person, so I'm not like buying 100 tarot decks, right, that I don't even use. So it just came to a point where I created my own tarot deck, right? Something that she spearheaded on her life journeys, right? Going through the whole grassroots community and the GoFundMe thing, and now she's like one of the most popular tarot deck creators in the world, right? So yeah, just following that stream of consciousness, right? And then as I get more used to using my deck and coming up with new concepts and things like that, I'll probably create another deck or something like that. And at some point, I'll be able to feel confident enough to actually go a step further, right? Because I want to get into movie directing, not necessarily acting, but more writing, more storytelling, right? Like silent movies, that sort of thing. So yeah, when I pay attention to these creatives, they actually have the time and the space and the energy. And that's the thing, like, I look back on my family they're not really educated people, right? And they look at me as a black sheep, right? Why do you talk like that? Why do you act like that? Why do you do the things that you do, right? Even when it comes to like growing up and getting into business and just doing things that people in my family didn't teach me growing up, and aren't able to even sit down and have a conversation with me about now because they've never done it. So yeah, having that creative space, or just having that safe space where you can just create abundantly, and yeah, just be very conscious and aware of the things that you're doing, the energy that you're putting into things. Like, again, it's like one of the most distracting things in the world as like a professional athlete, and you're trying to shoot a free throw, a game-winning free throw, and you have a bunch of people around you yelling, or you have somebody that's on the opposing team heckling you as you're trying to like shoot the shot. It's like, come on, bro, like and of course, no one's entitled to give you that free space. You have to find your own free space or safe space, or at least create it for you at some point, right? Sometimes people grow up and they move away from their family, right? Sometimes they feel like they have nothing in common with their community, or they have nothing in common with their family, right? That's why you see sometimes people get successful and they never move back to where they're from, right? No one in that community or no one in that town ever really like supported you in the first place, but now you want me to come back and like pour back into the community, right? You better be lucky that I'm a good person and that I'm willing to do something like that, and that's still something that I think about. So yeah, again, yeah, so I'm not even sure. I don't think I'm going to be putting out any readings anytime soon. If it rains now, scientifically speaking now, right? It's like going on 1 o'clock. If it rains now and the sun doesn't come out by 3 o'clock, it's probably going to be wet for the rest of the day. And I'm not going to come out and do readings out in the rain. I may do something in the house. Maybe not, but, you know, that's the way it goes. Sometimes you get readings, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're able to be creative, right? You do some like some creative detoxing and what have you. But yeah, man, that's just my word of advice for people, man. Try to create a safe space for yourself, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, right? It's not always about going outside of yourself and seeking therapy or advice from someone that may even be looking for advice or needs therapy. Like some of these so-called healers, like these doctors, and I'm older than them now, So like I look at these doctors that are like, even the last time I was in a hospital, I had a nurse fresh out of school in her 20s, and I let her, right? I let her, and it was a group of them, right? I let them practice phlebotomy on me. Like I let them practice shooting friggin' needles into my veins, because at the end of the day, they have to learn how to do it somehow, right? They can get all the practice in the world from a dummy in the class, right? But they actually need real life experience, and I have some of the best veins in the world, apparently. So, you know, you get one try and that's it. You mess up, nah, I'm good. I don't need you poking me a million times as a student, right? But yeah, and I look at them, they don't even know how to pronounce half of these medicines. They don't even know how to pronounce half of these procedures. They're kids, literally in their 20s, that's studying medicine, right? I've dealt with this my whole entire life as far as like being in and out of the hospital. So I know how to pronounce a lot of this stuff. Like I'm not the average or typical person that just goes into the hospital and lets doctors tell them this is wrong with them and that's what's wrong with them, and just let them shoot them up with like morphine, which is like a molecule away from the same drugs that they would lock black men up for selling on the street. Like there's crack cocaine is the same thing as morphine, right? And as a person that doesn't like being in the hospital for like, once I feel like I'm healed, I'm ready to go. I'm not going to sit in the hospital like most of these meth heads or addictive people that just want to keep harassing the doctors and nurses for more pain medication, more morphine and all this type of stuff, right? That shit shuts your body down. It stops you from healing. That's how you get rid of pain. You shutting certain receptors or certain body functions, brain signals in your body down. Like you're literally killing yourself. To like, most people don't know Tylenol is bad for your liver. Because I had a liver transplant, I know that Tylenol is bad for your liver, right? So again, creating a safe space for yourself, right? But I think that's it. More readings coming down the line, probably more information. Like I think back on my crown jewel of when I first got into tarot, like my astro lectures, right? I think I did my last one earlier this year. So I think it took me like a whole year to complete that series, if not a year and a half. But yeah, very interesting journeys and things like that. I look forward to being more creative. Again, at some point I'm going to start doing more deeper, more spiritual, and more insightful, more helpful reads, right? Zodiac signs will still always be there, but I may be doing like pick a cards and personality readings and helping people figure out their spiritual gifts and that sort of thing, right? So again, yeah, that's what I'm here for. I'm not here to to spread a whole bunch of chaotic theories, and why would I do that? Because then, like, if I teach a bunch of bad stuff, then I have to go out in the community and out in public with a bunch of people that have a bunch of bad communication techniques, a bunch of bad knowledge, and I got to deal with that, and I don't want to deal with that. Like, for the most, I'm a Cancer rising, so that's my ascendant sign. So, like, I like to be comfortable. They're like homebodies. So I like my safe space. Even when I'm out in public, bro, I wear hoodies and shades. I like my safe space. If I'm not giving you that vibe, and I'm a social butterfly and I'm very approachable, but if I don't feel like being bothered, don't bother me. You're interrupting me from thinking, talking, or something, right? Because I'm always assessing. My mind is always on go, right? But yeah, man, hopefully you guys have a good day, and I'll catch you guys on my next set of tarot card readings. I rarely do these little spiritual journey updates. I actually did a series of shorts not too long ago in regards to Western astrology and Vedic astrology, and how I actually use the systems. And it's just like going to work. You know, you can't go to work dressed in pajamas, right? I know I live in Western culture, so while I'm in a Western culture or Western society, I use Western astrology. Now, when I want to go deeper to my life purpose, I use a more accurate star system or more accurate astrology system like Vedic or sidereal astrology, right? When I want to get serious, when I want to be superficial, Western astrology. When I want to be serious about what I'm doing in life, as for right now, I'm using Vedic, and then it may change over time, right? At some point, I may evolve into a more accurate system, possibly even a more traditional system. But yeah, man, it's just you take everything around you with a grain of salt for the most part. Anything you see or you someone tries to teach you, you research it, right? You try to learn it for yourself. Man, yeah, and this is what's making me want to detox. I've been breaking out recently. The sun is like on my skin heavy, and then I think I'm like using certain moisturizers or face washes that's like washing off the natural barriers, like all this chemicals and shit that they put into these products, and we wonder why we in and out of the hospital, and why we don't, even the food that we eat, why we don't feel right in the inside. It's like sometimes you just get in the season of not taking proper self-care of yourself, or even when you think you're doing something good, you're not doing it the right way. So I recently had to shave just so I can wash my face better, right? Last week I was doing a whole bunch of like detoxing with a lot of lemon water and cucumber, and I was washing my face with lemon. That lemon probably stripped so much of the natural moistures off of my face that it left my face unconcealed. And yeah, now I'm like breaking out all over the place. I'm actually healing. It's getting better, actually. So yeah, anytime you see me looking crazy or I don't show my face in a reading, it's either because I'm going through like a breakout, or I just, again, like, I'd rather people focus on my voice and the message than to like be like, oh my God, this guy's so handsome, right? Yeah, man. To all the haters, you couldn't be better than me on my worst day, on your best day. Anyways, man, catch y'all on the next one. Peace.